Morning, folks. Welcome to Big Talk with Bruce Dickey right here on Wabash Catch TV. Do appreciate you tuning in. That is on Channel 3 over in Salem. It is Channel 100 or Channel 25 here in Florida, also up in Louisville, Jeff, Sisney, all over the place. Browns, you take your pick. We do appreciate you being here. My guest today, we're going to talk all about the Wabash Communications Co-op. You know, that's the thing. Dave Frigen is here. He is the Chief Operating Officer of Wabash. And the thing I run into, and I'm going to just mention it now, there are a lot of people who have no idea what all we do. Do you ever run into that?
It's pretty common, I would say.
Yeah, pretty common. So we are going to talk about that a little bit today. We might even teach you a little bit about phone service and how it used to work in the bad old days or the good old days. And we'll do that all here in just a little bit. Might talk a little bit of canoeing and all kind of other stuff with Dave here as we go through the course of the show. Again, you are watching Big Talk with Bruce Dickey. My name is Bruce Dickey. Thank you so much. What is going on around the area today in community events? Not too darn much. Not too many community events going on today, so let's just skip that and we'll go to what's on Wabash today. There's all kinds of stuff. A brand new show coming out tonight on AMC. I love the looks of this. It's called The Little Drummer Girl. It's from the John le Carre novel of about 40 years ago, but it's set around the time of the Israelis versus the Palestinians, which has kind of been going on for 2,000 years anyway. But it's set back in the late 60s, early 70s, and it's on AMC tonight. It's the start of a 6-week show. Should be outstanding. I'm going to be watching that on Wabash tonight. Also tonight, DC Legends of Tomorrow. That's on CW. That's at 8 o'clock. My Brilliant Friend. That was on HBO last night. Part 2 of that is tonight on HBO. That's an outstanding show. Plus, interesting one, the Julie Louis-Dreyfus Mark Twain Prize Award. That's going to be on PBS tonight at 8 o'clock. Take a look around, and you'll find that on your local PBS station. What's on in sports tonight? All kinds of good stuff. High school boys basketball. Tonight is the first night that the high school boys can get playing over the course of the year. We've got a game tonight. Should be outstanding. Red Hill at Sisney. First game of the year for both squads. That's JV at 6:15. Varsity to follow. That'll be again on Channel 3 over in Salem. Channel 100 here in Florida or in Sisney, and or Channel 25, depending on whether you have fiber or not. Also a ton of college basketball. They've been getting it going. The tournaments, the Thanksgiving tournaments have started out, and they're rolling now as Auburn will play Xavier today. That is at the the Cintas Center, and that'll be on ESPN2 at 2:30 this afternoon. That'll be on Channel 618 is the ESPN2. Also, all kinds of other basketball. They're getting the big Maui Classic going today. Illinois is in that, but the ESPN is going to have all of those games. ESPN2, I said 618, I meant 638. San Diego State plays Duke today. That's on ESPN2, channel 638. Loyola of Chicago plays Richmond. Of course, Loyola of Chicago, the team that made the Final Four run last year, the Cinderella squad that made the Final Four run out of Loyola. That'll be at 6:30 tonight. That's on Fox Sports 1. 7 o'clock tonight, Missouri State plays Nebraska. That's on ESPNU. That'll be channel 642. St. John's at Cal. That's on ESPN2 as well. That's on channel 638. Eastern Michigan plays Rutgers, and that's tonight at 6 o'clock on Big Ten Network, and that is at Rutgers, channel 600. Liberty's at Vanderbilt on the SEC Network. That's channel 639. Fox Sports 1 has Boston College versus Wyoming. That's Fox Sports 1, channel 610. There's just all kinds of basketball. I've got more. Arizona plays Iowa State. That's out in Hawaii as well. That's on ESPNU, channel 642. Texas Tech versus USC, ESPN2. That's channel 638. Arizona State is versus Mississippi State tonight. That's at the Humphrey Coliseum at 10 o'clock tonight on ESPNU. And Gonzaga, big game, plays Illinois at 10:30 tonight. Are you planning on staying up late to watch Gonzaga play Illinois tonight?
I am not a fan.
That's kind of what I thought. Of either team or of college basketball.
Just basketball in general.
You like doing other things.
I'm an outdoorsman, but
Yeah.
it's really popular. It's a big thing, and
well, I told you that I was in Champaign myself on Saturday.
Yes.
To watch a football game that really didn't turn out to be a football game. It was just a butt whooping in a parking lot was what that was. But Illinois plays tonight. They're going to play Gonzaga tonight, and that'll be at 10:30 on ESPN2, channel 638. And so I'll be able to get home after the basketball game in time to watch that. And it all works out then.
Well, yeah.
Dave, things just all work out. I like to hope so, anyway. Also tonight, Blues are in action on the NHL. The LA Kings are in St. Louis. They'll take on the Blues tonight. That is on Fox Sports Midwest right around 7 o'clock. And a big NFL game tonight, the game of the week, the game of the year, the game of the century. The Kansas City Chiefs at the Los Angeles Rams. That's the game they moved from Mexico City back to Los Angeles due to the playing field surface was in such rough shape down in Mexico City. That's on ESPN, channel 601. The kickoff is going to be right around 7:20 this evening. You are watching Big Talk with Bruce Dickey right here on Wabash Catch TV. My guest today is Dave Frigen, and we're going to talk about all kinds of different things going on here with Wabash Communications Co-op, as well as all kinds of other things. Should be an interesting show. Stick around, back in just a second.
Welcome to Clay County Hospital. Clay County Hospital and Clinics offer the best in services and care in the area with a staff that strives to provide the very best in patient-centered care. We offer full hospital services including radiology, therapy, surgery, labs, and emergency services. Our clinics located in Flora, Louisville, and Clay City allow us to reach out to Clay County residents so that you never have to go far from home for your healthcare needs. In addition to our regular provider staff, we also offer affiliated specialty provider services at our Flora clinic. Finally, have a minor injury or illness but don't want to wait for an appointment? Our walk-in, no-appointment clinic hours in Flora are Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. until 8 p.m., and Saturday from 8 a.m. until noon. Make Clay County Hospital your number one choice for healthcare, convenient and close to home.
Clay County Hospital, your number one choice in healthcare.
Get what you want and nothing else when you order a la carte internet from Wabash Communications. Wabash Communications is now able to offer a la carte internet called broadband only with fast download and upload speeds, reliable service, and unlimited data usage. No phone service is required for our broadband only plans. Our broadband only menu includes packages up to 1 gig download. Call us at 665-3311 now to order. Service availability and internet speed will depend on location. Contact us for details.
When you want an honest deal and hometown service without the runaround, go to Lamont Chevrolet Chrysler in Fairfield. Let Gabe McGahey, Sheldon Bunning, Jeff Black, Dennis Downs, Matthew Rogers, or Caleb Dunn score the best deal for you on your next new or pre-owned vehicle. Parts and service departments with factory-trained technicians and express lane and state-of-the-art tire and alignment technology. Lamont always inspects your battery, antifreeze, wipers, and tires for free. We want you prepared for the open road ahead. Open 24/7 at LeMansOnline.com. You'll like the way we do business.
Hi, my name is Bruce Dickey of Wabash Catch TV's Big Talk with Bruce Dickey. Watch us each weekday right here on your local cable station. We're on at 9 a.m. with a repeat at 9 p.m. It's your local TV talk show with plenty of information, fun, and frivolity to get your day started right or maybe even ended right. Please contact me at 665-9970 or at bruced@wabash.net if you are a member of of your organization would like to be a guest on the show. That's 665-9970. Big Talk with Bruce Dickey. Hey, thanks for watching.
Your call is very important to us. Please hold. Your call will be answered in the order it was received.
Tired of paying a big faceless company for your local telephone service in Flora? Now you can easily switch your 662 telephone number to Wabash Communications in Flora. That's right, Wabash can now provide local phone service to the Flora area, and yes, you can keep your 662 telephone number. It's available to both business and residential customers. Call us today at 662-3636. Wabash, your local telecommunications provider.
I got it. I got it. Oh, I get it. I get the picture. Look, welcome back, folks, to Big Talking with Bruce Dickey. My name is Bruce Dickey. Thank you so much for tuning in today. My guest today, it is Dave Frigen. He is the Wabash Communications Co-op Chief Operating Officer, and we've been talking about, actually, we haven't talked about anything on the television yet, but we're going to talk about all kinds of different things. Dave, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Bruce.
Scoot up just a little bit so folks can hear you.
Yes.
Dave is, how long you been with Wabash, Dave?
About a year and a half.
Okay, well, let's kind of to introduce Dave to people, make sure people know who he is around the area. Tell us your family situation. Where do you live? Where do you work? All that kind of business.
Well, I'm working up in Louisville with Barry Adair and the gang up there. Glad to be there. Married my wife Christy. She said to make sure to tell everybody that she's wonderful.
She is a wonderful person. I've never met her.
You heard it on the air.
it's got to be true. it's got to be true. Kids?
We have two kids, a boy and a girl. They're in their upper 20s. One grandbaby in August.
What are our children's names?
Chelsea and Chase.
What is our grandchild's name?
Her name is Harper Ray.
Harper Ray.
Yes.
Well, what a pretty name.
It is.
Named after To Kill a Mockingbird author?
I am not really sure.
Oh, you didn't ask?
I didn't ask. I don't think us men have any choice, do we?
No, it's really not our place. Well, that's outstanding, and you've been living down here. Where else have you worked? How long have you been in the communications business?
Communications business. I'm in my 40th year.
Wow!
I went to, and that includes my education. I actually studied telephony, which is a real word, term.
Yeah.
In Rice Lake, Wisconsin.
Okay.
7980. And went to work for a small independent telephone company. Back in those days, we were in a recession, and it was really, really hard to get a job. Prior to that, just about anybody that went through that.
This be like 1979 or something?
Yes. Terrible recession. So I went about 8 months unemployed. So I had 105 letters of application and resume out. And I got called 8 months later for my first face-to-face.
It took 8 months.
8 months. I mean, it was terrible.
Did you even get an interview?
You couldn't buy a job. I think only 3 people I think there were 60 people that went through that course, and only 3 people got placed right out of the course that year, where normally they had like a 89-90% placement rate.
So that just tells you the situation at the time.
Yeah, it was a telecom bust again. Nobody was hiring. They were in a big downturn, and so Wittenberg Telephone Company hired me on. Small independent company. This is a co-op that we work for now, a lot like your electric co-ops.
Right.
There are 2 types of phone companies. There are co-ops, and then there are for-profits or commercials, which are owned by shareholders. So that was a shareholder company. A whole different mentality. So to answer your question, 40 years, I spent 34 and a half with that company. I worked for another commercial company for a short period of time in the northern part of the state. A little change, in career. And then I got called down to southern Indiana. I spent 2 years over there, and from there I ventured over this way. So.
Over the course of time, I'm guessing that the telephone industry changed a little bit.
It has. It's the snowball effect. In the old days, the crazy thing. Even when I started, I was taught, believe it or not, 7980. If you remember the old cross arms with the insulators, some were green, some were white.
Yeah.
The open wire, some people called it bird wire. I was taught to put that up. The first thing we did was climb poles. We had a landline, and we raised the cross arm up. We put it on. We put the open. The first thing I did out of school was I worked for a salvage company, and we wrecked it. We took it out.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So when you ask about the industry and changes, it's this snowball effect. The longer that I'm in it, the bigger the snowball is, and the faster it's rolling downhill, and the bigger it's getting.
Really?
I'm working harder. I will work harder the last year of my career than I did the first year of my career.
No kidding.
Just because of the pace.
Well, because of the pace, because of the change of everything.
The changes and what we're doing.
We kind of, I kind of cheated here. Where we've got a phone here that, an old style phone that, now Dave, you didn't actually work whenever they were using these phones.
I did not.
just wanting to clarify that, Dave.
I know I'm gray, but
hey, yeah, we can't really start talking about gray hair all that much. Tell me about this phone, this little system. How did this work?
This type of phone or style of phone, this was called a candlestick. It was accompanied by a crank box. There would have been a square box. The way that you got a hold of the operator in the old days, so the operator sat behind a switchboard,
yeah,
and
she on television.
She would sit in and wait for a door to drop down. There was just a switchboard and cords, and when a door would drop down on her switchboard, that was you turning a crank in your house. When you turned that crank, that dropped that door, and she would plug into it and ask you, how do you want me to place your call? And wherever it was that you wanted it placed, she took the other end of the cord that she plugged into you, and she connected it to where you wanted to call. So she physically corded where you were going.
And this would be from like a 1920s. This is 1920s.
Yes.
Before that, in the normal society, in Southern Illinois and in Wisconsin, presumably, I didn't have phones.
1800s was when it became 1870s. By 1890, I would say that there was a phone somewhere in most communities. It would have been found in a barber shop or in a mercantile store or something like that. And as the demand became more and more, a business put a phone in, and so there became 5 phones in town. And eventually in 1934, the government created the Telecom Act that said that everybody in the rural should have the same phone service at the same price. And if you think about it, in town, they put in 10 poles and they pick up 20, 30 customers.
Right.
In the rural, you got to put those same 10 poles up, but you're
picking up a half a dozen.
You're not even getting to the first house.
Yeah.
So it was terribly expensive to deploy. So most of your phones, and it's the way the broadband is today. Everybody, in the city or close to the urban areas, tend to have decent broadband, where the people in the rural, people way out in the rural, don't. So life cycles, but a lot the same.
Well, that's where we come in, as putting in the wireless and the Wi-Fi. Did you ever use one of these?
They had a thing called the Eureka phone, and the dial was in the bottom of it.
Okay.
It was plastic, so
this is before the dial was even there.
Yes, yes.
Right.
This
that was a bad question. I shouldn't have asked you. I know you didn't use any of those. That you could have. Yeah. I don't know where you lived.
So I don't know if anybody can see that one or not, but
we've got the orange. We've got the orange phone back up there. This is more what you grew up.
That was called a mini wall, and those I installed a ton of those, and
oh, no kidding.
Yeah, that was my era.
It's a pain in the neck, by the way, getting that thing straight.
Well, how would you know that, Bruce?
Because we just put that there. Because Dawn,
you just put that on the wall.
Yeah. Me and Dawn Booker just put it on the wall, and it's if you look at it really close, it's a little cockeyed. But it's not that bad.
That phone is actually shaped in a V.
Yeah.
So that in the old days when they were square, you could really see it. But that is the reason that phone is shaped that way.
They altered the design of it just for idiots like me who can't get it straight.
Like me who couldn't put them on the wall straight.
Oh, that's the coolest.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun. Folks, we are talking today to Dave Frigen. We're talking about Wabash Co-op and telephones, and then we're going to talk about all kinds of other things. You are watching Big Talk with Bruce Dickey right here on Wabash Communications Co-op, Wabash Catch TV. We'll be back right after these words. Please do stick around.
It's my choice. It's my choice. It's my choice.
So many of our county residents have treatment or surgeries done at larger hospitals. What they don't always realize is that they have a choice to select where they can have physical therapy or any number of post-operative treatments and follow-ups. Clay County Hospital is your choice. Talk with your specialist, surgeon, or primary care provider and let them know that you want to stay close to family, friends, and most importantly, home.
Clay County Hospital, your #1 choice in healthcare.
When you want an honest deal and hometown service without the runaround, go to Lamont Chevrolet Chrysler in Fairfield. Let Gabe McGahey, Sheldon Bunning, Jeff Black, Dennis Downs, Matthew Rogers, or Caleb Dunn score the best deal for you on your next new or pre-owned vehicle. Parts and service departments with factory-trained technicians, and express lane and state-of-the-art tire and alignment technology. Lamont always inspects your battery, antifreeze, wipers, and tires for free. We want you prepared for the open road ahead. Open 24/7 at LeMansOnline.com. You'll like the way we do business.
Get what you want and nothing else when you order a la carte internet from Wabash Communications. Wabash Communications is now able to offer a la carte internet called broadband only with fast download and upload speeds, reliable service, and unlimited data usage. No phone service is required for our broadband only plans. Our broadband only menu includes packages up to 1 gig download. Call us at 665-3311 now to order. Service availability and internet speed will depend on location. Contact us for details.
Hi, my name is Bruce Dickey of Wabash Catch TV's Big Talk with Bruce Dickey. Watch us each weekday right here on your local cable station. We're on at 9 a.m. with a repeat at 9 p.m. It's your local TV talk show with plenty of information, fun, and frivolity to get your day started right or maybe even ended right. Please contact me at 665-9970 or at bruced@wabash.net if you are a member of your organization would like to be a guest on the show. That's 665-9970. Big Talk with Bruce Dickey. Hey, thanks for watching.
At Wabash Communications, our goal is simple: to keep people connected. And today we are doing just that, better than ever, by delivering the latest technology and personal service only a local provider can offer. We offer services anywhere from fast, reliable internet, TV services, and home monitoring solutions to crystal clear local and long-distance phone service. Wabash continues the commitment we started back in 1952, delivering a great connection to the most important people we know, our customers. So choose Wabash, the local service from people you can trust.
Morning, folks. Welcome back to Big Talk with Bruce Dickey. My name is Bruce Dickey. Guest today is Dave Frigen. We are talking about all kinds of different things. All right, we got through the 1920s and then moved into the more familiar area, I guess, right?
This was a little bit before my time too. This phone, they used that up until probably the 50s. Most companies, and I'm not sure, they told me when Wabash went dial. I'm going to say it was the late 50s.
So when you went dial, that's when you stopped having the ladies in the switchboards.
Yes, and it was a sad time. We had that picture for years of the 3 operators because it was 24 hours a day. Yeah. You had to have somebody manning it. Usually the nighttime there was a cot there, and you could lay down and you could get some rest. But it was a sad day when they had to let all of them go. So when they went dial, they went to a thing called electromechanical, and it took up large rooms of heavy steel racks. And it sounded like, if any of you remember the typewriter days, a click, 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 click.
Yeah, yeah.
These step switches, when you would dial a 5,
you go click, 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 click.
Yeah, and it would
5 clicks.
It would go 5 clicks up, and then the next thing you would dial, it would go, if you've dialed 50, it would go over to 10. It would go over to 0. So, and it was crazy. I was a switchman for many years, and so I never saw the magneto days and the crank phone days, but the electromechanicals, one of the first things I did, those would collect dust, and the everything, they would need adjustment. A good switchman could hear it when he'd walk in the room. If you were talking to him,
kidding,
and a switch messed up, he would just stop he'd interrupt your conversation, stop and go run. And
to find the switch.
To find that switch that was, he could hear it on all, and I mean, it would just be, that place would just be alive with,
that's cool,
with like typewriters. So
that's really cool.
That was the dial era.
We are no longer in that era now, are we?
No.
We are
and we've gone 2 steps past it.
We've gone to the fiber era for phone as well as everything. Yes. Now everything's internet? Or is that the way it's going to be?
That's the way it's going to be. You're going to see everything go into the cloud eventually. We still have a switchboard today. From that dial switchboard, they went to a digital switchboard, which took up about the same room, and it would do dial and it would do touch tone. Then we went to push button, it would do touch tone. Towards the end of the electromechanical days, they had to put electronics in the back, mount them in the back to be able to do touch tone. And it would actually convert it for you.
Okay.
The digital one then did both, and that took up a whole room. And when we went from this magneto day to the dial day, that switchboard lasted 20 to 30 years. We put that digital switch in when we went from just the electrical mechanical to the digital switch. That switch only lasted 9 years, and it was obsolete.
See, this is to your point of how it's changing the snowball over the course of time.
And that switchboard that lasted 9 years in that little phone company, we were about 2,000 lines, a little bit smaller than what Wabash was. That switchboard was $1.2 million, and it was junk in 9 years.
Oh my gosh!
Yes,
that you have to depreciate that in a hurry.
Yes.
All right, so moved off of that to. We're not quite to fiber, or we moved off to that?
We're doing fiber, but we're still in the transition. We put another switch in, and it's still the same manufacturers. The guys, the Siemens EWSDs, Nortel's has the C15 today. Taqua came in. There's one over in Salem. We're going to collapse that pretty quick. We have a C15, which is an old Nortel product, and Nortel's been around. They did a bunch of wireless stuff too, but that box now is about this wide, about that high, and it's got some servers that go with it.
But they used to be the size of a room.
It would take up a whole room, and we're talking, 400 amps of current.
Yeah.
Steady to run that thing, and now we're down to this little box that's probably running on 30 amps of current,
which makes it easier to probably have less problems with electric with the connectivity all the time.
There's all kinds of things that come into play. Number one, it's less expensive. You can buy that thing for. Remember, I said it was 1.2 for that big chunk.
For the big one, yeah.
You can buy one of these for about $300,000, and now look at what they do. I mean, they do caller ID, caller rejection, caller selection. Anything you could possibly want to do. It's just amazing what this little box does compared to what the whole big room did. We used to have our spare parts. We had 200 spare cards. And to troubleshoot that thing, you had to start on this. You're
talking about the little green cards that you would, the computer cards?
Yes, computer cards in the old days. Nowadays, there's probably only 15, 20 cards in the whole switchboard. And to troubleshoot, your chances between 200 cards and 15 cards of
a lot easier.
A lot easier. Now, I'm not saying it's easier. These guys still work really hard today to troubleshoot this stuff, but
they have different problems, though.
Yes,
there are probably some certainly some problems that you would never have had to deal with in the late 80s, 90s, whenever.
And you can talk to Don Ross, you can talk to anybody, you can talk to John Waller.
You can talk to Don and John and be lost within about 5 words. I'm just saying. No offense meant.
That was a compliment.
That's a compliment. That's exactly right.
Jeff Dennis and Chris Reinhardt, We got a guy over in Salem, you know,
Rodney.
Just smart, super smart. But you talk to these guys in the old days, I'm telling you, I was chasing a switchboard trouble every other night. I got called out.
Yeah.
Sometime between 5 o'clock at night and 8 in the morning, I was rolling a truck somewhere. And today, those things just sit in the room, the fans running. I'm not saying they never break, because our guys still, you don't see it because you're all in bed, but our guys are still running nights, but not like it was back in the DCO days and EWSD days.
That's good. Talking here with Dave Frigen, we're going to talk about fiber internet and how folks get it, how folks have it, and the differences between fiber versus analog and all kinds of different things. That work for you?
That works for me.
Folks, you are watching Big Talk with Bruce Dickey right here on Wabash Catch TV. Dave Frigen is the guest, and I promise we'll also get to canoeing here, because this is fascinating. Some of the canoe stuff this guy does is outstanding. You're watching Big Talk with Bruce Dickey. We'll be back right after these.
At Wabash Communications, our goal is simple: to keep people connected. And today we are doing just that, better than ever, by delivering the latest technology and personal service only a local provider can offer. We offer services anywhere from fast, reliable internet, TV services, and home monitoring solutions to crystal clear local and long-distance phone service. Wabash continues the commitment we started back in 1952, delivering a great connection to the most important people we know, our customers. So choose Wabash, the local service from people you can trust.
Welcome to Clay County Hospital. Clay County Hospital and Clinics offer the best in services and care in the area, with a staff that strives to provide the very best in patient-centered care. We offer full hospital services including radiology, therapy, surgery, labs, and emergency services. Our clinics, located in Flora, Louisville, and Clay City, allow us to reach out to Clay County residents so that you never have to go far from home for your healthcare needs. In addition to our regular provider staff, we also offer affiliated specialty provider services at our Flora clinic. Finally, have a minor injury or illness but don't want to wait for an appointment? Our walk-in, no-appointment clinic hours in Flora are Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. until 8 p.m., and Saturday from 8 a.m. until noon. Make Clay County Hospital your number one choice for healthcare, convenient and close to home.
Clay County Hospital, your number one choice in healthcare.
Hi, my name is Bruce Dickey of Wabash Catch TV's Big Talk with Bruce Dickey. Watch us each weekday right here on your local cable station. We're on at 9 a.m. with a repeat at 9 p.m. It's your local TV talk show with plenty of information, fun, and frivolity to get your day started right, or maybe even ended right. Please contact me at 665-9970 or at bruced@wabash.net if you are a member of your organization would like to be a guest on the show. That's 665-9970. Big Talk with Bruce Dickey. Hey, thanks for watching.
Your call is very important to us. Please hold. Your call will be answered in the order it was received.
Tired of paying a big faceless company for your local telephone service in Flora? Now you can easily switch your 662 telephone number to Wabash Communications in Flora. That's right, Wabash can now provide local phone service to the Flora area, and yes, you can keep your 662 telephone number. It's available to both business and residential customers. Call us today at 662-3636. Wabash, your local telecommunications provider.
When you want an honest deal and hometown service without the runaround, go to Lamont Chevrolet Chrysler in Fairfield. Let Gabe McGahey, Sheldon Bunning, Jeff Black, Dennis Downs, Matthew Rogers, or Caleb Dunn score the best deal for you on your next newer apartments with factory-trained technicians and 24/7 at LeMansOnline.com. You'll like the way we do business.
Like nobody's business.
Man, he was mad.
Welcome back to Big Talk with Bruce Dickey. Thanks so much for tuning in today. My guest is Dave Frigen. He's the Chief Operating Officer here at Wabash Communications Co-op, and we're talking about all kinds of different things. All right, let's get some folks some internet. What do you say? Internet, folks can get in different ways. Fiber, but fiber is the next thing, right?
That's the next thing, yeah. And,
fiber optics.
Probably the craziest thing that I've seen as far as trends in this industry is that the people who have fiber think everybody else has got it, and
really
they take for granted. And I shouldn't say take for granted, but they have no idea the quality of service they have and what the rest of the continental United States has. Now, I mentioned earlier that big cities, the urban areas, most of them have pretty fair internet, and most of that is due to cable TV companies, not necessarily, the bigger companies, the AT&Ts, the CenturyLinks, and Verizon's, Frontiers, GTEs. But it's just crazy because most of these people, especially people like in CenturyLink territory and the people in the AT&T areas that are a little bit rural, those companies
they haven't made it a
priority.
A priority, have
yeah,
they?
No, they're just not big on their list. And so the great thing about co-ops, not only they treat everybody good. The co-op is really focused on their members, and they reinvest everything that they make. They reinvest into plant and making things better. I will tell you, I've worked for 4 companies in my lifetime, and Wabash Telephone Cooperative is by far, hands down, has the most quality, does everything right, makes the right decisions, and it starts. I will tell you this from all of the boards that I've served. It all starts at the top.
That's cool. That's cool. Let's talk about getting folks internet. If they don't have internet, or if they have some, like you say, crappy internet.
Yes.
Well, you didn't say. I said crappy. But internet that cuts out all the time. Fiber doesn't do that, does it?
No, fiber's really steady. It's the best platform there is. They still don't know. It's undefined. It's unknown to man. The speed that can be transmitted over it depends on the lasers on both ends. So this fiber that we've put in the ground, until Mother Nature decays it, which will be probably 30 years, all we have to do is change the lasers at your house and change the laser at the office, and we increase your speed.
So that little box on the side of the wall or something like that, or they're talking about the box on the wall rather than the box inside the house. It's got a little laser catcher on the end of it, or something like that?
Yeah, it's a single fiber, and that single fiber that's going to the houses that we feed today. If you pluck a hair out of your head, if I had one, I'd do it for you. You pluck a hair out of your head.
Hey, don't do it,
Dave. That's the size of the fiber that's carrying your telephone, your TV, and your internet today. It's just incredible, and it's one single fiber. So when somebody talks to you, it's transmitting to you, and when you're talking back, and the same thing. On television, when you're telling us to change your channels or whatever, there's two-way transmission. It's bi-directional on that single fiber, the size of your hair. It's just absolutely amazing. And
here we are looking at
this cord.
These cords, and they don't exist anymore.
No. Yes, and another nice thing, you're not affected by lightning. Fiber optics is fiberglass.
It's underground, too.
It's fiberglass. It's non-conductive. There is a locating shield, so we can locate the cable in front of your house and to your house, but beyond that, it's dielectric. So
see, now I hadn't really thought about that.
Yeah.
So, well, your fiber's not affected by lightning, but you might want to turn off your computer since it's probably logged in.
It's plugged into the AC in the wall, and yes.
Yeah, I started going with used battery power.
Yeah, wireless.
There you go. I like the thought. I like your thinking there.
So
that's pretty good.
Yeah, you ask how do we get signed up?
Yeah, how are we going to get folks? Because if I have it, I wish I had $1 for every time I've been bothered. Not bothered. That's the wrong word. Every time I get asked in Fairfield, when are we going to get fiber, or when are we going to get Wabash? And I'll tell you what I tell them: it's coming. That's the best I can tell them.
Yes.
and go sign up.
So today we have, and if you're probably watching us on our network, but today,
or on YouTube.
Yes, we have a website. If you go to wabash.net, www, go to wabash.net. Upper right-hand corner is fiber interest site.
Right.
So when you log into that, that is a site where you can express interest. If you don't have our internet today, and it doesn't matter. We were just laughing in we weren't laughing, I guess, but in our last, we got a kick out of this in our last board meeting. And we have a feeling that it was Bill Teichmiller's mother.
Oh, really?
But in Chicago, we had a blue dot up in Chicago wanting Wabash Internet.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
How long till we get it up there?
Well, we're getting there. We're working our way that way.
That is correct.
But that is where you go. You go to the website, and you, no matter if your address doesn't show up, there's a spot in there that you can click on. It says click here, and you can put your address in, and we'll add you in if we don't have your address in that database. We have access to that map behind the scenes, whereas you'll know
folks don't see it.
Yeah, you'll see your community, and we have things called fiberhoods in communities, and this is areas of interest. When you've expressed enough interest, we will put a fiberhood into play, and then that really focuses.
So that's really how Wabash is going into new areas.
Exactly.
Based on the interest from that particular area.
Yes, yes, and it comes from you, even in the rural. Putting your interest in.
Because it's asking for your 911 address, and it all gets stuck on like a map on the wall, almost like a computer wall.
And I explain to people too, maybe you're halfway between here and Kinmunday, or that's already pretty populated, or you're halfway between here and Edgewood, and you're out in the rural, and you're saying, well, I'm not going to waste my time. They're not coming out here. That's not always necessarily the case, because someday we're going to have to get to Edgewood, and depending, we'll go onto that map.
See the best way to get there.
Yeah, and it might be 2 miles off the shortest route to get up there, but that's probably who expressed the most interest. So even the folks in the rural, it is so important that you get on that site and sign up.
So go to wabash.net, go up to the upper right-hand corner of it, and go to fiber interest. Click on that fiber interest. Go ahead and sign up there, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Before we start talking about canoeing, I read in the paper, or online or somewhere, I read in the paper that Wabash Communications Co-op had just recently made a purchase of Montrose Mutual up in Dietrich. Tell me about that.
Yes. Montrose Mutual put their telephone company up for sale.
This was one of the for-profits?
This was a commercial, and actually the way that it's structured through the state as a corporation, it will remain Montrose Mutual, and it is now wholly owned by
Wabash.
In the end, by Wabash. Yeah, there's a bunch of subsidiaries. I won't bore you with the details, but originally when we had interest or showed interest in Montrose, we were going to go in as Wabash Independent Networks, and we were going to deliver fiber optic services. Because there were no fiber optic services, they were still all copper. Now, they did have internet, or do have internet.
Montrose mainly feeds the Dietrich area?
Dietrich, Montrose, Gila.
Teutopolis?
Just outside. Teutopolis, I believe, is a frontier, or it's consolidated. Okay. And then there is Elliottstown as well. So those 4 exchanges. So, we were going to go in and basically, like we do in frontier, other territories, we were going to go in and what we call cherry pick. We would go into greenfield subdivisions where there was clusters of homes. Again, we get back to this density thing where we put this piece of fiber in, a short piece of fiber. If we can feed 20 houses, that's a great return on investment. Yeah. So that was our original thought. And then, Montrose came up for sale. And we ended up purchasing Montrose Mutual. We closed about 3 weeks ago, I guess, on the deal. But we've been working on it for well over 6 months. The great news is now that anybody who's a current Montrose Mutual telephone customer is going to get fiber to the home. We are going to overbuild the entire.
There you go. Yes. There you go. At least all the residents up there who are in that co-op, they're now in the co-op, aren't they?
And if you are the last guy a mile from your last neighbor, you're going to get fiber to the home. Everybody's going to get it.
It just takes time.
It just takes time. We're looking at a 5 to 7 year plan. We haven't, we're not even sure what direction we're going yet. We're meeting with engineers right now to look to see how we're going to do it, what makes the most sense, where we're going to start, where we're going to finish. But it doesn't happen overnight, and nor does when you see that cable plow go, by the front of your house. there's a lot of things that happen behind that. And actually,
and they were doing that 50 years ago. I
yes.
mean, so it's taken time for cable to get to this level,
Yes.
and it takes a little bit of time for fiber.
So we've got to splice it. Once we put it in, they might just be putting the orange duct in the ground. Then the cable's got to get blown through the duct. Then the guy's got to connect the ends on that, and then
you connect it to the house.
Yeah, fiber's got to be run to your house, and then those ends got to be connected, and then somebody's got to come into your house and do the inside work.
So there's a few steps involved.
Yes, it doesn't happen overnight, but it's worth waiting for.
It's worth waiting for. That's exactly right. Talking here with Dave Frigen from Wabash Communications Co. He's the Chief Operating Officer. We're going to talk about canoeing. You wouldn't. It's kind of a leap, isn't it, from one to the other?
Yes.
I'm trying to think of a way to segue to it. Not much.
Well, I would maybe communications in the old day was.
There you go. I like his thinking.
Down the river.
Exactly right. Down the river. Thank heavens. No wonder he's wearing the hat he's wearing. You're watching Big Talk with Bruce Dickey on Wabash Catch TV. We'll be back right after these.
When you want an honest deal and hometown service without the runaround, go to Le Mans Chevrolet Chrysler in Fairfield. Let Gabe McGahey, Sheldon Bunning, Jeff Black, Dennis Downs, Matthew Rogers, or Caleb Dunn score the best deal for you on your next new or pre-owned vehicle. Parts and service departments with factory-trained technicians, and express lane and state-of-the-art tire and alignment technology. Le Mans always inspects your battery, antifreeze, wipers, and tires for free. We want you prepared for the open road ahead. Open 24/7 at lemansonline.com. You'll like the way we do business.
Get what you want and nothing else when you order a la carte internet from Wabash Communications. Wabash Communications is now able to offer a la carte internet called broadband only with fast download and upload speeds, reliable service, and unlimited data usage. No phone service is required for our broadband only plans. Our broadband only menu includes packages up to 1 gig download. Call us at 665-3311 now to order. Service availability and internet speed will depend on location. Contact us for details.
Welcome to Clay County Hospital. Clay County Hospital and Clinics offer the best in services and care in the area with a staff that strives to provide the very best in patient-centered care. We offer full hospital services including radiology, therapy, surgery, labs, and emergency services. Our clinics located in Flora, Louisville, and Clay City allow us to reach out to Clay County residents so that you never have to go far from home for your healthcare needs. In addition to our regular provider staff, we also offer affiliated specialty provider services at our Flora clinic. Finally, have a minor injury or illness but don't want to wait for an appointment? Our walk-in, no appointment clinic hours in Flora are Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. until 8 p.m., and Saturday from 8 a.m. until noon. Make Clay County Hospital your number one choice for healthcare, convenient and close to home.
Clay County Hospital, your number one choice in healthcare.
At Wabash Communications, our goal is simple, to keep people connected. And today we are doing just that, better than ever, by delivering the latest technology and personal service only a local provider can offer. We offer services anywhere from fast, reliable internet, TV services, and home monitoring solutions to crystal clear local and long-distance phone service. Wabash continues the commitment we started back in 1952, delivering a great connection to the most important people we know, our customers. So choose Wabash, the local service from people you can trust.
Hi, my name is Bruce Dickey of Wabash Catch TV's Big Talk with Bruce Dickey. Watch us each weekday right here on your local cable station. We're on at 9 a.m. with a repeat at 9 p.m. It's your local TV talk show with plenty of information, fun, and frivolity to get your day started right or maybe even ended right. Please contact me at 665-9970 or at bruced@wabash.net if you are a member of your organization would like to be a guest on the show. That's 665-9970. Big Talk with Bruce Dickey. Hey, thanks for watching. That's wonderful. Welcome back. Big Talk with Bruce Dickey. My guest is Dave Frigen. And all right, he was able to put it together. The canoeing, how communications worked with canoeing. All right, that's enough of that. Tell me, one of his big interests, you're a canoeer.
Yes.
How long have you been doing that? I guess forever, for your entire life?
I grew up. I grew up south of Duluth Superior, about 70 miles, and we grew up on the water.
In Wisconsin or in Minnesota?
In Wisconsin.
Okay, so
but not too far from Minnesota, actually. About 50 miles from the Minnesota.
Did you learn how to canoe on lakes or rivers?
Rivers, generally. Lakes, there was boats, fishing boats, pontoon boats. We water skied. So, I just love water.
A lot of folks, a lot of folks will go canoeing. I've been canoeing in current river down in Missouri, southern Missouri. Been up to Sugar Creek up in Indiana, Turkey Run. And the canoeing for 15 miles or 10 or 15 miles, like a 5-hour day trip, that's a little different from what you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
Tell everybody about what you some of the canoeing that you've done.
Well, probably the most memorable trip was the Namakagon. It was back in the late 80s, and I canoed with the same guy. I still canoe with him. Didn't this summer because he had some knees replaced, but
probably need shoulders replaced after all the canoeing you guys been doing.
Maybe.
But how long's the Namakagon?
Namakagon was just shy of 100 miles, 96 miles long. So we did that we had a 6-day trip planned, and by day 3 we had already
finished the river?
Well, we hadn't finished it, but we were making way too good a time, and so we were just overzealous. We were younger men then, and these days we tend to drift and fish as we go. Yeah. And so we'll just, whatever direction the canoe is, we were talking earlier offline about canoes, and you always want your heaviest person in the back,
right?
Because that's otherwise, if the heavier guy,
you want the top up.
Well, yeah, and the back end of the canoe will come around if you got the light guy. So and the guy in the back steering. So this guy and I weigh about the same. So we switch off every other day down the Namakagon. The fishing was incredible. I mean, northern pike aren't a fish of this area, but they get real long, narrow, and they're fighters. They're really good eating. We caught walleye in the top part of the river. It changed. It was so diverse. We were catching brook trout in the top of the river. Yes.
How big's the river?
Well, when we started out, the river was no wider than this room.
Is that right?
Yes.
So 15 feet.
Yeah, and there were places where a tree fell across. We'd have to
port.
Yep, have to pull everything back out. We went through, on that river, we went down, there were 4 dams.
So you're porting there too?
We were porting there too, and those are actually long portages and some of them in cities where you might have to get out, walk down a city street before you could get back down to the river.
How much of a falls are you willing to take in a canoe?
Depends on whether we care about the gear in the canoe or not.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, if there's nothing in the canoe. And, we don't want to wreck the canoe either. They're expensive, and you get fond of, like anything else, you get
You got your favorite.
Yeah, you got your favorite, so you're not going to wreck your canoe, but, it's probably nothing to go over, a 3-foot drop.
I was thinking 2 or 3 feet probably would be about as much. And the reason he says they care about whether you care about what's in the canoe, because that's where you swamp.
Yeah, well, and you'll lose it.
You'll
lose it. So we learned a long time ago, everything gets tied into the canoe. Anything that you care about gets tied to the canoe. So, yeah, it might get hooked on a rock. The worst thing that can happen is if you're in rapids and there's stones every place and the current stops, whatever it is, you do not want to be between the canoe and the rock.
Right.
You want to be on the high side of the canoe.
Yeah.
By the same token, your gear does not want to be there. So you ask about a story. The same friend of mine, and I, he called me this fall and he said, "Did you hear about me in the news?" And I said,
"He was in the news."
He was in the news.
What was in the news?
They got rescued off of a river.
It rained a lot in Wisconsin.
Oh, it was nothing. He's a milk toast. It was only 22 foot. It was only a 22-foot rise.
Yeah, 22-foot rise in 8 hours. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, it was nothing.
Yeah. So tell me about this guy.
He was. This guy's, we've done a lot of canoeing. We're really experienced, and When they stopped for the night, they were.
Did they knew rain was coming? Did they know rain was coming?
They knew it was going to rain, but it was a thunderstorm, and they weren't calling for flash floods necessarily. Now, this was down in the coulees of southwestern Wisconsin. It's very, very hilly there. It would remind you of southern Indiana.
Yeah.
Very, very hilly. So the river valleys get really deep, and they're real narrow. When they stopped for the night that night, he said they were a little irritated because when they tied the canoe off, it was about 15 feet up the bank to where they had to pitch their tent. So they had to carry their backpacks and their food up there for the night.
And you tie off the canoe, you leave it there.
Yeah, you leave it.
Leave it on the river because
leave your paddles, you leave everything in the canoe, and and you usually tie it off good. If I could tell you all kinds of stories where there was close calls, but long story short,
they camp 15 feet above the river.
Yeah, they eat supper, and it started to rain. It started to pour at the tail end of supper. So they hopped in one of the tents, got out a deck of cards and a light, and proceeded to play cards. And they said, I have to take a step back. The gentleman that was with my canoeing partner said, "You and Dave have gone on all these trips, and I've heard about them." He said, "Take me on one."
This is his first trip.
First trip. He went to Walmart. He bought himself a $15 Walmart tent, and they're playing cards in the $15 Walmart. It was raining so hard, 15 feet up, that the rain was coming through the floor of the Walmart tent. So they got into Tim's tent. Tim is my friend, my canoeing, and he has taller sides, and it's a good tent. So they had to switch and move in there, and actually they moved all of Bruce's stuff in there too because Bruce was going to get wet. There was hands down. So they were going to end up sleeping in the same tent.
Yeah, no biggie. That happens.
Out of the rain. So while they were sitting in there, they got out a couple of times, and it was really raining, and about 3 hours later, they got out of the tent. They said that the sides of the tent were billowing, and now Tim's seen everything. Trust me, we sustained in separate tents 58-mile-an-hour winds on an island, on the west side of an island, and our tents. I was holding my tent up with my feet. I mean, he's seen some stuff. And
so he gets out of the tent.
When he opened the zipper, water roared inside the good tent. I mean, came over the top inside the tent. And when they got out, they could see clear across the river, and the water was about halfway to their knees.
So it would already come up 15 feet.
Yes.
More than 15 feet.
Yes.
So they just finally. It was probably very timely that they got up and got out when they did.
They walked over to where the canoe used to be.
It's gone.
It's gone. There is no canoe. And they're looking at each other. They both had cell phones. One was AT&T, one is Verizon. For those of you that don't know the difference, they use different technologies.
Yeah.
Tim's AT&T phone didn't work. The Verizon phone's the only one that worked. And so one of them called their wives and said, "We're in trouble," or whatever. And they said they got back in the tent, and they were sitting on top of whatever they could sit on in the tent, with their feet dangling in the water. And they said within minutes, half an hour, it had risen.
It's go time.
They're saying, So they got out, and they started to circle around, and every place they went, they were on the highest ground there. And they said it was raining so hard that the flashlights that they had was only 6 feet. They couldn't tell what direction they were going. Did
they get out? Well, I guess they got out. He's telling you the story.
Yeah.
Finish the story. How'd they get out?
They had to call.
Like 10 seconds.
They had to call 911, and 911. They had to come in with big spotlights, and they had to swim out. They lost everything but the clothes on their backs.
Oh my gosh! And you're going canoeing again with this guy.
Absolutely.
Dave, thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Wonderful. That's a Big Talk with Bruce Dickey for today, folks. I appreciate you watching. You have an outstanding day. Wabash.net, upper right-hand corner.